Coming up on Nightly News Podcast. According to recent numbers, human trafficking is a major problem in the city of Orlando. However, the Knights for Social Justice are trying to change that. Hear how this change could make an impact on you.
Violent situations can pop out of nowhere, even on campus. Find out what you can do if one of these situations arose and UCFPD isn't there to help.
And child abuse is being attacked head-on by the manicure movement. Find out how this can impact your community and how you can get involved. Nightly News Podcast starts now. Good afternoon, and welcome to Nightly News Podcast. I'm Brennan Schaefer.
And I am Seb Balan. Today is Friday, April 5th, 2019.
The Knights for Social Justice held a Human Trafficking Awareness Week with events concluding last week on March 27th. Here's Nightly News reporter Lindsay Lawton IV with information on the week of Discourse Human Trafficking as well as what's being done around the Orlando area to shed light on this issue.
I have seen a lot of them. There is no evil that equates to human trafficking. It is the worst. It is absolutely the worst.
The Knights for Social Justice, along with a few teachers from the Sociology Department, hosted a Human Trafficking Awareness Week. Tuesday's panel discussion focused on the steps being taken by local law enforcement and task forces to end human trafficking. The Knights for Social Justice president, Jackie Fernandez-Reese, talked about being a voice for the voiceless.
There's a whole hidden population of victims that we don't know about, and that's kind of what interested me in human trafficking.
According to the Greater Orlando Human Trafficking Task Force, in 2017, Orlando ranked third in the nation for number of reports to the National Human Trafficking Hotline.
We don't really know how many victims and how many traffickers there really are out there because it's a hidden crime. It's really hard to find and identify. It overlaps with a lot of already existing crimes.
During the community leaders panel, there were a host of things talked about, including the role that men play as victims in trafficking.
Suicide rate amongst young men who have been in trafficking is high because of the shame that it brings. But we have to stand up, and it doesn't matter who you are. You're not a victim, you're a survivor.
Human trafficking affects everyone. The problem persists throughout the country. Selling people is big business.
Sell drugs. You can sell that once. You can sell a person many times one day. And that's what's happening.
I'm Lindsay Lawton IV, UCF Nightly News.
Human trafficking is an issue, both locally and nationally, and Orlando is no exception. The Knights for Social Justice say that there's no such thing as too much awareness when it comes to this topic.
Physical safety and mental health can be some of the biggest concerns for college students. While UCFPD does its best to protect students, they are still vulnerable to violent offenses. Nightly News Podcast reporter Amber Manuel explains the mental effects of violence and what they can do in a confrontation.
Since February, there have been several accounts of battery. According to the UCF Police Department Daily Crime Log, there have been 6 cases of battery in this past month alone. When someone is violently attacked, they not only experience physical abuse, but mental and emotional abuse as well. According to an article published by A Healthy Place, the effects of abuse are not always visible to the naked eye. Effects of psychological abuse ranging from short-term to long-term include anxiety, shame or guilt, depression, or low self-esteem. UCF provides a number of resources in order to help students who have been victims of any form of violence. In addition to all the contact numbers students can use to report something, such as the counseling services, there are defensive techniques students can use as well. The UCF Recreation Wellness Center provides a course in order to help students better defend themselves against possible attacks. Striking, blocking, and grappling are a few of the skills students will learn. The last UCF defense class takes place on Wednesday, April 24th from 6 to 8 p.m. Nightly News encourages students to register for a chance to learn some helpful techniques. Reporting in Orlando, Amber Manuel, Nightly News Podcast.
If you or anyone you know that have been a victim of abuse, be sure to use these resources provided by UCF. And remember, if you see something, say something.
Embrace Families Foundation is bringing the manicure movement, polishing off child abuse, to the UCF campus for the first time. Nightly News Podcast reporter Jordan Markoff has more on what made event organizers bring this campaign to college students.
Embrace Families Foundation is putting on their 3rd annual manicure movement, but this year is the first time they will hold a separate event for UCF students. Communications Manager for Embrace Families, Danielle Abbey, tells us where the name of this awareness campaign came from.
And so at the Manicure Movement, we have man in all caps because we're aiming it at men to paint their pointer finger blue in honor of the 1 in 5 children that experience child abuse before the age of 18.
The Manicure Movement is being adopted statewide in Florida. Community-Based Care is an agency that leads child welfare and has gotten almost all regions of Florida to adopt this campaign. Development specialist for Embrace Families, Rachel Cohen, tells us why she thinks it is so important that this movement comes to UCF.
So college kids are so receptive to causes that pertain to them and to causes that they can relate to. So college students is a perfect demographic because as millennials, we care a whole lot.
The Manicure Movement will be held on April 4th in the Key West Ballroom. In Orlando, Jordan Markoff, Nightly News Podcast.
The Manicure Movement is striving to get rid of the stigma that talking about child abuse creates. With April being National Child Abuse Prevention Month, this campaign is aiming to launch awareness in the right direction. That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with UCF Nightly News on Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.
And if you've got a story idea that you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynewsucf@gmail.com. Thank you for listening and have a great day.